New at noon, former NBA player Drew Gordon has died in a crash in Clackamas County. Deputies say he was driving a three-wheeled autocycle yesterday when he crossed into the opposing lane and hit a pickup. He died at the scene. We're told the truck driver and passenger were treated for non-life-threatening injuries. An investigation is underway into what caused the crash, but so far deputies say impairment does not seem to be a factor. Gordon played for the Philadelphia 76ers during the 2014-2015 season. He's also the older brother of Denver Nuggets player Aaron Gordon. Drew Gordon was 33 years old. The Denver Nuggets posted a tribute on social media. It says in part, quote, "Drew was far too young to leave this world, but his legacy will forever live on through his three beautiful children and all of his loved ones."